relationship drama with the best night of your life. Your host, Jay, and simply E. Hold on, get ready to enter the Jaye Spot, on intellectual radio.com. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the best night of your life. Woo! You have entered the Jaye Spot, where we are strengthening relationships and families one conversation at a time on intellectualradio.com. We are an iHeart station. I'm your host, Jay. Hey, you all. Thank you all so much for tuning in and allowing me to share just a little bit, and I do mean a little bit, tiny portion of your evening with you. Guys, I am back. Oh my God. When I tell y'all I have been in these streets, I have been in these streets. But can I tell y'all something? I'm tired now. I don't need to do nothing else this year. You know, when you get outside, you get outside for a little bit and then you get to acting crazy and then you realize, you know what? You're not really about that life anymore. And I realize that I'm not about that life anymore. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Do me a favor, go to our YouTube page, like and follow us there, the Jaye Spot Radio. Go to Facebook, like and follow us there, the Jaye Spot. Go to Instagram, like and follow us there, the Jaye Spot. Jay is spelled Jaye. For all three guys, it's just me hanging in with you all tonight, guys. Listen, I was down at the Cincinnati Jazz Fest, you all, and let me see you all. It was amazing. We had a great time. Now, let me just tell y'all, okay, so Friday we went down, okay? So we always go with a travel company. I'm not going to say their name because he ain't sponsoring me. So until he get with it, I ain't saying his name. But so Friday we went down. So who was the headliner on Friday was Anthony Hamilton. So 112 performed, Anthony Hamilton, and also Earth, Wind, and Fire. Now listen, Earth, Wind, and Fire were not the headline. But baby, when I tell you them, they got on there and showed they behind, they got on there, they were performing for over an hour and a half. They had max an hour that they were supposed to have performed. Baby, they took an hour and 45 minutes and threw the whole show off. When I tell you they put every hit. They performed all of it. Reasons. The reason that they did everything. Let me tell y'all, some of y'all grandmamas was down there and they forgot that they was on that Medicare Part A and B. They forgot that they had their AARP cards in their purse. Baby, they forgot Mr. Earl was back at the hotel waiting on them because, listen, it was too hot out there. And, even though they are Earth, Wind, and Fire fans, they weren't about to be sitting in that sun all day waiting for Earth, Wind, and Fire to come up. But baby, they was on there. They was getting it. And I know the people at the back, they like, listen, come on, because they signal them to let them know it's time for them to come off. Earth, Wind, and Fire was like, who gonna put us off the stage? Who gonna put us off? Yeah, we know we over. But who is gonna come on this stage? Who gonna come on here and put more than 50 years in this game? Who gonna come put us off the stage? Nobody came to put them off the stage. They had to just let them go head on and do what they had to do. But guys, they did an amazing job. Tony Braxton did an amazing job. Who else? Jasmine Sullivan is absolutely dope. Now, they had a couple of other little people there that I don't really know who they are, but everybody did a great job overall. So that sums up my For the Streets. Baby, when I tell y'all, I walked so. Now listen, if anybody wants to donate to our ministry, my ankles are still swollen, okay? Still swollen from walking around in that Cincinnati heat out there. And let me tell y'all about the restaurants that we went to. All I'm gonna say is, we as black people, we are full of kumbaya for everybody, but for each other. Everybody not like that. All these other races, we got to be honest. They are not like that because, baby, we stayed in Louisville, Kentucky. That's where our hotel was, in Louisville, Kentucky. Okay? just saying Kentucky, you already know what the rest of the story gonna be like. Baby, we walked into the restaurant in Kentucky, and my soul and my spirit instantly left my body. Now, one of my sisters is a rebel, so she demanded that we stay there. I didn't want to stay there because we walked in, and when I tell you, it was nothing but, it was a sea of pinkness. And I felt like when we walked in, I felt like time stopped. I felt like they were looking as though, you know, that these are whites only pies over here. That's how I felt. So I was ready to get up out of there. But one of my sisters was, no, we're staying here to eat. I was like, well, okay, but, you know, I really don't, you know, listen, when I tell you all, I was on my best behavior, and we had a pleasant experience. I'm not going to lie. We had a pleasant experience. However, I was just uncomfortable about, like, I need to see some of us. Now it was, let me backtrack that a little bit. There was one of us in a sea. It was about 50 people in there about when we walked in there. Nothing but pink people. But then I look over, and oh, you see a dot on the wall. And you already know it was a brother. It was a brother sitting up there with Maud and Earlene and them, and Sally Mae and Jessie Ruth up at the table. And I just said, you know, we have to commend people like that, because I said, you know what? I know if I felt the weird vibe, unless he ain't been in tune for a minute, I know that he felt that weird-ish as well. But he sat there and listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. He trooped that thing out because he was going to impress all of them pink folks sitting up at that table. He sat there with his hands like this. Jay, how you know all that? Because I was looking. I was all up in his business. And he was just sitting up there just like he was scared to sneeze. I wanted to say, bruh, blink if you need a little help, blink. There's nothing I'm gonna be able to do for you, but at least blink so therefore I can know that you're human. And that situation just leads me into our first hot topic. You all, this doggone Shannon Sharp. What? And see, they got him. They got him real good. See, he done went on ahead and settled with old girl like 2 weeks ago, and he back to interviewing and da-da-da-da-da. He just getting it in, baby. Then ESPN came with the old uppercut like they always do, baby, and knocked the wind up out of him. He did not see that ish coming at all. What do you all think about that? Do you all think that was unnecessary for ESPN to come and fire him and cut ties with him? Now all of this, listen, now all his sponsors, and I don't want this to happen, but now, you know, no doubt other sponsors are going to start pulling out left and right as a result of ESPN firing him and pulling out. What do you all think about that? Do you all think that, you know what? Yes, they were right. ESPN should have pulled out. ESPN should fire him because of what well, first of all, what is the crime? He did not commit a crime, because guess what? No charges were brought against him. So what exactly did ESPN fire Shannon Sharp for? What was he fired for? Because he wasn't charged criminally. So if there's no criminal charge, I don't understand how and why was he fired. He settled civilly with this, whatever you want to call it. He settled civilly with her. So I need to understand where and why was he fired? On what grounds was his contracts terminated for with ESPN and Disney and all these other channels? Why? What was the reason? Because again, he settled civilly with her. She didn't have him arrested. She's not pursuing him criminally. So I don't understand what caused him to be let go from ESPN. So somebody help. I mean, maybe listen. Maybe it's something because they're thinking like, okay, well, man, we don't want this to negatively impact our brand. We can't be associated with this. But this was 2 weeks. If y'all was gonna do that, why didn't you all do that in the beginning? Like when this first came out, you guys, this has been out for months now. At least 2 months, maybe 3 months, whatever, 2 months at least. That these accusations have been out there. And again, he did not or was not charged with anything criminally. So I don't understand why was he let go? Why did ESPN let those why did they take away the contract from him? Why did they fire him? What was the reason behind that? My personal theory is, listen, they're gonna teach you. They said, you know what? Listen, you gonna learn today. I don't understand, and I will keep saying this. I don't understand how many brothers do they have to make an example out of? When you say, Jay, who is they? You all know who they is. The people that are asking who are they, this not you, you're not a victim of they. So of course you're going to be asking who is they. But for those of us that have been victims of they, we know who they is, and we know who they are. I would say we know who they are. And so with that being said, how many more brothers gotta lose? Listen, this man could potentially lose everything, just like Diddy could potentially lose everything. Now Diddy ain't got locked up on some day charges with a pink chick. So guess what? There's a good chance that Diddy is gonna actually walk. Diddy could actually walk. Diddy could actually slide through these charges because his accusations and all the stuff that he been through, they were not involved. So they willing to turn a blind eye because there wasn't no days involved. But for the Smokey Robinsons, Mr. Smokey Robinson, and Mr. Bill Cosby, and R. Kelly, and all this other, well, R. Kelly wasn't dealing with a day either, so, but they're gonna make an example. But how much do you all have to lose? But before you start saying, you know what? Yeah, see, this be that bull junkie right here. I'm gonna go ahead on and leave this ish alone because you know what? I ain't even about this. Not about this ish at all. But I'm definitely hoping that everything works out with Shannon Sharpe. I'm hoping that he will still be able to maintain and get some other sponsors and things of that nature to keep his podcast and everything afloat, because I do think that he has a really good platform, even though, I'm really not a fan of his, but I don't want to see him railroaded, because this is exactly what this is. This is a railroad, and I don't want to see that happen to him because, again, I do think that he has a great platform. I think that he's a great businessman, and I think that he brings on a lot of good guests, and people enjoy enjoy his platform. They have a chance to just get on there and speak their truth, and without him, being judgmental, he kind of just let them go on there and go for what they know. And I think people have come to love that and appreciate that. So I definitely hope that Shannon Sharpe does not lose his entire platform as a result of this, because again, in all fairness, he did settle with this chick. So I'm not sure how much more. What more do you all want from this man? He's already given, he's already settled with this girl. What more do you all want from him? Like, I don't understand. So some y'all got to help me understand what more is needed from him. And she already cost him what? Almost 50 million. She almost got that. So what else, what else does he need to do to get you all off of his back? So again, I'm definitely hoping that he does not lose everything. I'm hoping that he's able to come out on top with this and just, man, just rebuild. But I mean, hopefully learn something as well. Learn something in this moment. Like, look, leave these folks alone. Leave these, and y'all know who the folks are that I'm talking about. Leave these folks alone. Go find you somebody like Monique told him. Go find you somebody that's your age. Monique told him, go find you a sister, an older sister that's your age. Leave these young girls alone. Monique told him that. See, they say a hard head makes a soft. Y'all feeling the breaks. You feel it in. But I need them to start. I need brothers, listen. I need you all to start being more wiser in your love choices and in your love decisions. Yes, I'm gonna go there, and for some those that's gonna try to come for me, whatever. Come on. I need you all. You all are going out there, and all y'all see is, oh, you know, I'm gonna get with Karen because Karen ain't no gold digger and all this, and and Quisha, all she wants is the gold. What? Let me tell you something. Quisha ain't getting your gold. You can go to the court. The courts and the judges are not giving Quisha your gold. She's not getting your goal. But a pink fans only 19-year-old model, and I think that that's a self-appointed title, me personally. But a pink fans only model is taking their bags. These little orphan Annie looking chicks, that Little House on the Prairie looking chicks, that's who's getting y'all bags. It ain't Quisha. It ain't Quisha. It ain't the chick that you want to call ratchet and get. That's not who's getting your bag. See, you all have to understand what you're dealing with. Because guess what? Pink men understand what they're dealing with when they're dealing with pink women. And you all need to take a page out of this next guy's book. Now, I'm going to tell you, I want to just go ahead on and virtually high five John Cena, okay? The wrestler and actor John Cena. John Cena made his ex, Nikki Bella, listen to this, you all. He made her sign a 75. You heard me right, 75. He made her sign a 75-page contract before moving into his mansion. And he refers to her as a guest with strict rules like leaving the house with nothing if their relationship ended, which it did. 5 years later, she was with John Cena for 5 years and she left with absolutely nothing. Now, some of you all may say, oh my God, that is so wrong. That is so, what's wrong with it? Help me understand. See, brothers, you all need to start taking a page. You can learn a thing or two from John Cena. You can learn a thing or two from some of these other athletes, like these soccer players and things like that, where they're putting everything in their mama and them name and everybody name, but they know that the chick that they with, she's getting nothing. But brothers, most of you all go into it thinking that she better than your Coco sisters. You think that she's better than your sisters, so you go up in there just lolly 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 lolly, knowing she done already laid a trap for you. See, John Cena knew, and all of the other ones know. So they're protecting themselves. So brothers, can y'all help me understand why are you all the only ones that are not protecting yourselves against this? If they know, see, that's why you need to get from over there. Get from over there, because you're not thinking rationally. You're not thinking business minded. But she already went in there. That's the real gold digger. She done already laid a plan for you. But you so busy sitting up here trying to judge Quisha and thinking Quisha trying to get something that you got, and you not looking at what Karen doing. Karen, that's just like they do in the stores. They sit up there, you walk in the store, and Karen walk in the store, baby. They own you like a second coat of skin. Meanwhile, Karen up in there robbing them blind. The same thing that happens with you all, brothers. So again, I look. Oh, that's why the brothers don't want to be with y'all. The brothers don't want to be with y'all. That's why. Listen, honey. Look at yourself. Go tell your mom and them to hug you, because that's just some self-hating stuff. Go hug your mama. Listen, maybe they didn't titty feed you when you were younger. Maybe they didn't hug you. Whatever it is, your problem. All I'm saying is, it's a business move. If it's good enough for a man like John Cena to say, you know what, I'm gonna separate this ish. Yes, I am, because you never gonna bleed me dry. Never. When you leave here, you leave with exactly what you came here. Nothing. And he meant nothing. 5 years, nothing. Now, Jay, that's another woman. Why you ain't mad? Because she signed it. Plain and simple. Because she signed it. Michael, hey Michael, you saying give me Quisha all day. Don't want no Karen. I know that's right. How you doing today? Hi Gretchen, how you doing? You say, listen, she signed it. That's why I'm not upset. That's why I don't have nothing. How could a man do it? How could you sign it? If it was good enough for her to sign, knowing that he's referring to her as a guest in his home, if that was good enough for her, it's good enough for me. I don't have a problem with it. If she didn't have a problem with it, why should I have a problem with her being referred to as a guest? Clearly, she had listen, she was just trying to get in there. And to my knowledge, she is a wrestler herself. So I don't think that she was entirely without funds, but I definitely know that she's no John Cena in the finances department. But again, he made a business move, especially when she was not his wife. She wasn't his wife. So what else is he going to refer to? Listen, he said, listen, I want this to be ironclad. I want there to be no mistakes whatsoever. So if she leaves my house, she leaves with what she came with. Nothing. She is entitled to absolutely nothing. And Jay, you don't see a problem with that? She was with him for 5 years. That was her choice. Why would you stick around? My question is this. It's not, well, why aren't you mad that he made that this woman had to go through this? She had to go through what? She willingly, it's a 75 page document. You mean to tell me by the time she got through initialing page 10, she's still sitting there, she's still there, sitting there initialing it. 10, 11, what that means? You made a conscious decision. You knew exactly what the deal was, and you agreed with it. So, case closed. John Cena ain't wrong. Any man that does this to protect his assets, I don't think that he's wrong, because guess what? At the end of the day, you have an option. You have the option to sign that contract, or you have the option to not sign it. And by not signing it, then if that means that you have forfeited your right or your role in the relationship, at least you made a decision that was best for you. Because when he had that 75-page contract drawn up, trust and believe, he was making a decision that was going to be best for him. So we have to start doing the same thing. But ladies and fellas as well, like, there's a business side to dating. There's a business side to love. And sometimes we like to get the two confused. And that's how you end up losing on the financial side, because I like what Tina and Ike said. What do love got to do with it? Love doesn't have nothing to do with you taking half of this man's assets and half of his resources, especially if you haven't put that work in. Now, if you helped him build an empire like she did on Waiting to Exhale, Bernadine built that doggone company. She deserved that company. She deserved half of everything. But if you come into the situation and this man is already established and he already has it going on, why are you entitled, whether he marry you or not, why are you entitled to half of that if you leave? That's what I don't understand. And then I want to tie the other story in this with 50 Cent and his ex. So she had a problem because 50 Cent was not throwing out that cash. 50 Cent, she like, listen, this cheap bastard right here, because baby, she was like, he didn't give her no money. She said, listen, 50 Cent's ex, she recently discussed her breakup with 50 Cent, saying that he ended the relationship after she asked him for $10,000. And then she says, ladies, think twice before dating someone like 50 Cent. He never gave me $1. The only gift that he gave her was a wig, which wasn't even worth $100, and he wanted that back after the relationship ended, as he should. Shout out to that man. Shout out to that man. Because again, ladies, look, I know you may be like, Jay, that's just some pick-me-ish. That's no. Walk with me. Walk with me. Come on, let me invite you into Jay land here. Let me invite you into the psyche of Jay. Because see, I have a problem with 50 Cent's ex. And I'm going to tell you what my problem is. How are you? So you're asking him for $10,000. $10,000. And he's worth more than $10,000. Now you may say, Jay, oh my God, what you mean? Okay, pick a side and stick to it. Just hear me out. 50 Cent. You are with 50 Cent. And you're asking him for $10,000. I wouldn't have gave her nothing either. Let me get with 50 Cent. 50 Cent, I'm available. You ain't got to give me nothing. Jay, what you mean he ain't got to give you nothing? If you were 50 Cent, how come you ain't building your own ish? How come you ain't learning how to be in the room for yourself? That's what I'm saying. This thirsty, ratchet, lowball, bottom basement mentality, I'm not with it. Put me in a room with 50 Cent. I want you to show me to do what you're doing, so I can eat on my own, whether we together tomorrow or not. If I'm with you, I want to learn from you. What can you teach me? 50 Cent could have taught her how to fish for her whole family. But you sitting up here crying because he didn't give you $10,000 when the knowledge he has is worth so much more. What can you teach me? Because I'm trying to take my ish to the next level. You sitting up here, oh, I want to lock him down. I'm ready to have babies. Listen, once you saw that that wasn't what he was on, listen, what do I got to do to be in the room with these meetings? That's what I'm trying to be on. How can I be at the table when you making these type of deals? That's what I'm trying to be on. Skip all this. Oh, I want he better back. And he ain't buy me no purse. He ain't do. Listen to what she's saying. He never gave me $1 because you were in position to get so much more. You were in position to make your own dollar. You were in position to make your own $10,000, but you forfeited that position. You forfeited that. So you can't get mad at this man because he didn't give you when you had so listen, ain't no way in the world. No way in the world. I talk to people because I'm going to say it. I'm trying to get in your network. Listen, oh, you look, sir. Come on now. I need you to focus, brother. Wheel it in, okay? Come on. I know, listen, get your eyes off, bada bing and bada bang, because this, I promise you, this is not what you want, okay? Because my focus is on something totally different. Listen, so what can you teach me? What can I learn from you? Listen, how can you make my life better? How can I make your life better? Because I know I got information that can make your life better, and I want the same from you. But all she wanted was $10,000. Girl, you done lost 50 cents over $10,000. Crazy. Just craziness. Craziness at its finest. But again, that's just little old me. So 50, you can call me. Listen, let me tell you something. I promise you, I won't ask you for nothing but a seat at the table. I'm gonna be there recording stuff, taking notes. He gonna be like, this right here, she ain't playing. Listen, I want the blueprint. I don't want your print. I want the blueprint, so that when we part ways, I'm good. I'm gonna be solid. I'm gonna be secure. You won't need his $10,000. And I'm sure he had that type of conversation, but you was too lazy to take advantage of it. So now you sitting up there, oh, ladies, beware of dating men like 50 Cent. Beware, because he's not going to give you nothing. He's not going to give you nothing, because he's not going to give you his money that he get up hard and work for. That's just some pick-me. That's just some pick. You can call, listen, pick me like you pick your doggone nose. I don't care. That information that 50 Cent has is worth way more than $10,000. Don't give me the $10,000. Give me the information. Put me in the room. Make the connections for me. Let me make the, listen, all I got to do is meet them. Once I meet them for myself, that's it. That's it. I just put me in a room. And you know what? I'm telling y'all, fellas, some of y'all don't be hating. I have this guy. I ain't even going to call him a friend because he's a hater. When I tell you he would never put me in a room with people, because he already know if I get in a room with his network, it's over with. So then I'm not going to, because I don't ask him nothing. I ain't never asking for nothing and never will. But it kills that shot of that ever happening. So I'm like, listen, some of you all stop being haters. Stop being haters. If you could put somebody in a room and you let me get in there and I can go fish for myself, because I can fish. Don't even worry about it. Me and this big mouth and this big forehead, baby, we will be walking, knocking down stuff in it. Listen, talking loud and doing whatever it is that we do. But I promise you, when I come out that room, it's going to be all she wrote. So ladies, listen. Stop sitting up here thinking these dudes owe you something. What kind of, if she's sitting up there sleeping with him, then he do owe her something. You chose to sleep with him. He's sleeping with you just like you sleeping with him. Does that mean that he owe you something? Listen, I said like this. You have to start letting these brothers know. If you gotta pay to play, then you gotta tell them. And I'm not opposed to you saying you gotta pay to play. I'm not opposed to you saying that. You know, sometimes a little hooking, ain't nothing wrong with a little hooking, okay? Ain't nothing wrong with a little hooking, okay? I'm not opposed to a little hooking, okay? Not opposed to a little hooking. Sometimes the bills got to be paid, okay? Sometimes you're running a little low on the mortgage or one of the rents or one of the car notes or something. You know, so sometimes you're running a little low and you got to do a little something strange well, listen, if you're doing something strange for some change, I really don't know what to tell you. You know, if it's something for some change. But, you know, again, I don't think that there's anything wrong. Like I say, sometimes you may have to hook a little bit, you know, but that's to each his own. Now, some of you all may say, listen, the church is listening. Well, look, I'm going to tell you something. I had this lady tell me in the church, she sure did tell me, she's like, Sometimes you gotta sell a little pee. She sure did tell me. Yes, she sure did. She like, you know what I'm talking about, Jay. Not in the house of the Lord, ma'am. I don't, Lord. I don't know what she talking about. Selling some pee in the church. I don't know. Lord, I don't know what she talking about. Now, when you outside of the church, ma'am, it's a different conversation. But we're not gonna be talking about some selling some pee in the church. But yes, she sure did tell me. She was like, Jay, you know what I'm talking about? No, I don't. I'm like, what you heard? That's first that I had to ask her that. I'm like, what you heard? What you talking about? Some Jay, you know. What you talking about? I ain't you lying. And then I had to think. I said, wait a minute, let me make sure we in the church. Yeah. But no, seriously. If you are dating or you're in position with people that have resources and information, like set yourself up. Like get yourself together. Make sure you're in position to win for yourself because the last thing you want to do is be dependent upon somebody. That's the last thing you want to do. You don't want to be dependent. Ladies, you don't want to be depending on a man that ain't your husband, that ain't your father. These dudes owe you absolutely nothing. Nothing. That's what they owe you. Nothing, 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 nothing. Owe you absolutely nothing. If by chance you meet a man that is generous, because listen, let me tell you something. Now look, I'm not gonna sit up here and make it seem like all these dudes are tightwads like 50 Cent is. Not gonna listen. Because there are some men that are very generous. You just gotta be the chick that he wants to be generous with. Because a lot of us will sit up here and get mad because, oh, I asked him for this and I asked him for that. Look, stop asking these men for stuff. I'm like this. Listen, these dudes, if he care and he like you and he checking for you, in my opinion, I don't think you have to ask a man for anything. If you are that chick, if he's checking for you, you don't have to ask a man for anything because he's gonna do it for you. He's going to give it to you. Guess why? Because he wants you to have it. There are some brothers that are very free with their pockets. Very free. Listen, their pockets are very friendly. And you ain't got to go through all these changes just to get something from them. Just know who you're dealing with and know what you are to him. Because if you're having a hard time getting something from a man, it's safe to say you're not the chick for him. You're not that chick that does it for him. You're not the chick that makes him want to go into his wallet. You're not the chick that makes him want to Zelle you some money or cash app you or give you his platinum card or his black card. You're not that chick. If every time you turn around, you asking him for something. Well, can I get this? I need this. And then listen, dudes get tired of you being needy. Stop needing everything. If you always needing something, listen, you getting on my nerves. And you ain't even asked me for nothing. Stop being so doggone needy. Be able to stand on your own 2 feet. A lot of men respect that. Not coming and acting like you big bad and miss I don't need a man type, but not that energy. But a man respects and appreciates a woman that got her own stuff. She got her own. Like she building her own stuff. She need me, but she don't need me. If I walked away tomorrow, she gonna still be okay. I think dudes appreciate that. And you have to have that for yourself because you don't want to be in this type of situation with the next hot topic. Now listen, you all, this young lady, let me say this first. We have to make sure that we are talking and training our young ladies properly to make sure that they got it. Jay, they got what? Listen, that they got survival 101. What do you mean by that, Jay? Here's the deal. This next hot topic. This young lady, she broke down in tears and just had a full out, just some type of tantrum or something because her best friend gets locked up while they were in Florida on a girls' trip. And she said that she had no ID, no money, and no way home. She, in this video, and I watched it, it was just the most saddest thing that I've seen. This young lady is begging the police officers to take her to jail with her best friend because she literally had nowhere to go. Imagine that. Like, you're begging the police, take me with her. I don't know anybody. I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have anybody to call. This young girl, she couldn't have been no more than 19 or 20, if even that. And a few things went through my mind as I'm watching the video. And it just made me think, God, what type of family did this young lady come from where she has absolutely nobody to call? What type of family she begged and pleaded with the police officers to take her to jail because she didn't have any money or anywhere to go. No ID, no way to get back home. And her first thought was to beg them to take her to jail with her friend. She didn't say, okay, I'm going to call my mama. I'm going to call my daddy. I'm going to call my grandma. I'm going to call my grandpa. I'm going to call my auntie, my uncle. You want to go to jail? Opposed to reaching out to somebody in your family? That, to me, was the saddest part about that video because I'm just like, wow, is it really to that point where like our young people are out here and they don't have anybody to call on? Now, no doubt, you may say, Jay, she 19, 20, she grown. Yes, in theory, she's grown. But at the end of the day, let my 19 or my 20-year-old, let my 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50, whatever year old call me. I'm there. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what you've done. I'm not going to leave you out there. Nieces, nephews, I'm not going to leave you out there. Now, we are going to have a talk about your foolishness. We're going to have a talk. Now, maybe that could be the reason why she didn't want to call anybody in her family, because she probably didn't want to hear the I told you so's. But how bad could the I told you so's, or how bad can the lectures be that you would choose wanting to go to jail opposed to calling somebody in your family? Hey, Cedric, she said that her ID was with her friend. Her friend had her ID. The hotel room was in the friend's name. Everything was in the friend's name. The friend had the money. Listen, young people, young ladies especially, listen to Auntie, okay? Because I'm going to tell y'all this in love. I'm going to tell y'all what they used to tell us back in the day. Don't you ever go nowhere without being able to get yourself back home. Don't you ever go anywhere without having a way back home on your own. Do not get out there and depend on anybody for anything. If you don't have money for food, your own money, it don't matter if they say that they're covenant. Okay, they're covenant, that's cool. You should still always have something just in case, because you don't know what's going to happen. As far as her having her ID, I'm gonna slap you when you get home. I'm slapping you for that dumb ish. Because what you giving your stuff to this girl for? And I don't think that the girl had the ID, because as it's hysterical as she was, the police would have gave the girl gave her ID to send her on her way. So I don't know how true that part was. And hopefully this was a skit, because my heart really went out to the young lady, and my heart goes out to the young people, because it's so much, like, they're being bombarded by so much foolishness that I'm just like, are they even stopping to think? Like, I feel like this is a act first and then think about the consequences later type of generation. Like, they don't really think that fat meat is greasy. They don't think that these consequences, and sometimes it's harsh, like you're getting yourself, this my girl, this my boo, she got me. Listen, you're too trusting. Have not you seen all these situations that's happening with so-called friends, and you're getting caught up in these situations, and now you get somewhere and you get hurt. You all be very mindful on who you're traveling with. Young ladies, Auntie is really talking to y'all. Be mindful. Be mindful of going places with friends, because every smiling face is not a friend. Every smiling face is not somebody safe for you to travel with. Cedric is saying it sounds like it's a skit. Denisha saying you're absolutely right. It's this new generation. Absolutely. It's like they will jump out. I'm getting flued out. And then you get flued out, and now you can't get back, which will lead us into our next hot topic. Now, this topic is really trending. This man, DeAndre Ayton, and I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but he is a ball player. He's an NBA Laker. And he is accused of leaving a woman stranded in Turks and Caicos after she refused to do the horizontal mambo with him. He left this chick in Turks and Caicos. Now, mind you, she had just had another man's baby in April, but hey, that's besides the point. He took her to Turks and Caicos. She went to Turks and Caicos with this brother. Got over there. He thinking he finna pop that. He think he finna bust it wide open in Turks and Caicos. And she said no. And he left her there. What do you all think about that? Was he right for doing that? Was he wrong? Was she wrong for going? What do you all think about that? Yes, an NBA Lakers player, DeAndre, he took this chick to Turks and Caicos. He thought he was finna, listen, he thought he was finna spray his Turks all over her Caicos. And she said no. He was like, bet, I got you. Watch this. And he left her there. He left her stranded in Turks and Caicos. Again, this goes back to, ma'am, why would you go over there? See, first, let me just rewind this let me just start over from the beginning. So, if you're going to Turks and Caicos, I want to say, if you haven't done the horizontal mambo on American soil, don't take these folks over somewhere else thinking that this is gonna lighten the mood and you gonna get it over there. If you haven't gotten it here, don't take these chicks over there thinking you're gonna get it. Because now, not only was that the stupidest thing ever, that was illegal. Like, he could go to jail for that. Like, they're really on these people. Listen, have you not been following what they're doing with Diddy? You could totally be brought up on sex trafficking charges. Like, what do you think this is? Like, It's dangerous to do this. Fellas, listen. Listen to me. This ain't on, listen. To protect you all, brothers, this is not, this is not a good move. This is not a good look, and it's illegal. You could go to jail for doing this. Depending on what state you're in, this is illegal. You may be thinking, oh, I ain't finna sit up here and be spending my money on no beach. She knew I brought her down here. She knew what it was before she got on the plane and this and that. This may be entirely 1,000% true. But all she has to do is call the authorities and tell them that she refused to have with you. I almost said it. She refused to do the horizontal mumbo with you, and you left her stranded in an unsafe place. Now you could be arrested and prosecuted simply because you got mad. So you can't, you gotta be in control of your emotions. Now, Denise is saying he shouldn't have left her, but I think she knew the plan. But I don't think he should have left her. I absolutely agree. He should not have left her there. Cedric is saying he ain't right, but neither is she. She got treated like she acted. I totally agree with both statements. She definitely got treated how she acted. But at the same time, again, they both were wrong, but he even more so because now he's put himself in position to actually have charges brought up against him if she ever decided to pursue this legally. Now it would have cost you way less to get her a ticket or a bus ticket or whatever. Send on listen, she may have flew out with you on a private jet. Not saying you have to take her back on a private jet. You could have sent her on the most basic trip back. You could have sent her on a train ride back, a bus ride back, whatever. But you have to make sure you get her back. And just the fact that you bringing her over there, you know, that whole thing, you all, that's starting to be something, you know, that they're starting to act upon that a lot in today's society, that trafficking thing, they're starting to act, you know, and they're starting to make that a real big thing. And I'm not saying that it wasn't a big thing before, but now we're hearing about it a lot more, and it's a lot more common, and the penalties are definitely stiff for those things. So fellas, I would say this first to the fellas: establish that relationship, establish what it is. Like, stop thinking or stop assuming. Ladies, stop assuming. So I'm going to tackle this on both corners, both edges. Fellas, stop assuming because you finna flew her out that she's entitled to give it to you. Especially if, see, this sounds like a case where they've never done it before. If you ain't got it over here, don't try to take her over there. Don't try to take her somewhere else and get it. Make sure you get it first here. And y'all got a regular relationship going on and y'all busting it wide open here. Then if you decide to take it to somewhere else and continue off somewhere else and get a different scenery, that's a totally different scenario. But if this is the first time and y'all ain't never did it, and you trying to go trick off somewhere, and now she trying to, you know, you both have an agenda. And now y'all both lost because you didn't get nothing, and now she got stranded, and now you could possibly be in trouble. Denise is saying, I think that shows his character, that he just wanted the horizontal mumbo as if she was a trick. Now, and I totally agree with that. But like Cedric said, he treated her how she acted because she just had another NBA player's baby. So this wasn't just some random chick. This, it sounds like, and I don't want to cast any judgment, but I'm just going to call it what I see. It sounds like she's an industry chick that, you know, that goes around with the players. So that he like, listen, oh, so you done busted wide open and did that thing with your tongue that my boy told me about. So, but now You want to get over here. Now you want to act like you brand new over here. I think not. I think not. You going to do the same thing that you did for my boy. You going to do that over here to me. If not, you not getting back home. You got to find your own way back home. But again, the dangerous part with that is that now you've put her in harm's way. Now you can be charged for that. Ladies, stop accepting these type of trips if you know that you not, listen, he taking you to Turks and Caicos. You know, let's not act like we don't know what it is. You know he's expecting to do every type of ungodly thing to you on that island. You know this. If you are not down, Jay, so you're saying that I have to sleep with, I'm not saying you have to sleep with him. I'm saying you need to stay at home. That's what I'm saying. You ain't got to sleep with him, but stay at home. Somebody fill in the word for me, because tell us, keep at home, okay? That's what you entitled to do. That's what you're obligated to do. Stay at home. That's what you have to do. If you know that you're not planning on going down there and doing all kinds of nasty things to him, you need to stay home. You need to truly stay home, and stay home. Don't get down there with that foolishness. Do not, because you already know. You know, like they say, you know what the deal is. You know what the deal is. And if you're not on that, that is totally fine. You don't have to. But please stop taking these trips and accepting these lavish gifts. And then when these men, thank you, Denise. Thank you. Thank you very much. She put what I said. She needs to stay at home. Denise said it for me in the chat. So thank you, Denise. If you're not prepared to do that, you need to stay home, because you're putting yourself. Now, here's where the accountability for self has to come in. You are putting yourself in a very compromising situation. You're putting yourself in a position to be left and stranded in another freaking country. Where you have a baby left at home with something. You need to be at home breastfeeding your baby or trying to change a diaper or something. Like, have you even had your 6-week checkup yet? Like, I mean, are you even healed to be outside dropping it like it's hot? Like your priorities are messed up. But even if it wasn't for her just having a baby, if you know you ain't on that, don't go. And let's do this. Can we start? Let's take it back to what Too Short was saying. Can we start talking about the freaky tales? These are the tales. The tales sold well. Can we talk about the freaky tales? Can we just start talking about the freaky tales up front, so that we can just make sure that our agendas align? Because, baby, he about to break. Y'all thought Diddy was something. You ain't seen nothing to this man break out his freak kit in the Turks and Caicos. You ain't seen nothing yet. Y'all think y'all gotta watch out for Diddy. Woo! Some of these other ones, and they free. So let's have these freaky conversations and let's talk about what exactly is going on when we get to Turks and Caicos, so that we can just make sure that we're planning the same trip. Because clearly he was over there, baby. He was about to bust off all. Listen, he's about to cap off all up. It was going to go down. Going down. He had a whole ungodly agenda planned for her. And while she want to sit over there and she want to act like she don't know that he came here to see what that mouth do. He brought her there to see what that mouth do. And now she gonna act like She done got up down. Oh, she done stepped on that island with that beautiful sand and that water. Now she gonna act like she don't know what the deal is. He has a right to be upset. This man done rolled out the carpet for you, and you done got over there. And now you want to be stingy with your hoo ha. How dare you? You find your own way back home, ain't you? Find that's no doubt that's what he was saying. But if you all had the conversation and you both agreed this is what's going on when we get down here, that's one thing. But for him to assume that it was going down and her to have other plans and for her to assume, well, and for me, I can't even say that she didn't assume that he was gonna want some. You knew he was gonna want some. You knew this. You knew it. You know it. You know about the type of pictures that you take. That this man was at 21 gun salute. As soon as he pulled up to pick you up, you knew he was ready. You knew he could have knocked you off right there in that car. You knew what was going on. And you can't tell me that you all were not having any type of freaky conversations and all this other ish beforehand. You cannot tell. You can't pay me to believe no foolishness like that. So she knew what was going on. I believe in my heart. She knew what was going on. But she got there and she decided, listen, as she is entitled to do so, she got there and said, not so, Bama. Not so. You will not be doing all these ungodly things to me. You will not. You're going to have to find somebody else. I'm out here to find me a real lick. See, that's what it is. She used him to go to Turks and Caicos so she can get over there and find her a prince or a king over there. That's all she did. She like, you an NBA player. You got short money compared to the kings and stuff, the princes and stuff that's over the prince that's over here and these kings and stuff that's over here in Turks and Caicos. You got small money. I'm looking for long money. And as it turns out, it didn't really work out that well for her. Cedric is saying, did he pay to get her there? Yeah, it seemed like he paid to get her there, but he was not paying for her to get back because she refused to bust that thing wide open. So, moral of the story, like Lil Kim said, the moral of the story is this: if you ain't licking this, then you ain't sticking this. Sorry, y'all. Just had a flashback. See, don't let this lip gloss fool y'all. But the real moral of the story is this: fellas, stop flying them out. You all have to start letting them get out there on their own. Therefore, if she gets down there, this may be something that might be safe. Let them start paying for themselves to get down there. And then you say, you know what? I'll send you back. So at least you're not paying for her to get down there. So I'm thinking, but definitely still do the research in your own city, in your own state, to make sure that that's not considered trafficking. Because if she paid her way to get to you and then you decided, you know what, listen, or she said, okay, I ain't even on that. And you said, okay, that's fine. Let me send you right back to where you came. I feel like you will be covered more in that area. But if you're paying for her to get down there and then you get mad because she refuses to be with you intimately, you could be bringing some legal ramifications up upon yourself unnecessarily, and you don't want to put yourself in position to be that. You don't want to have to deal with that. So y'all have, some of y'all, listen, y'all fire off too quick. Y'all be like, oh, I'ma show that beat, I'ma show that, and then you end up showing yourself. Now you're the one in trouble. She ain't in trouble. Oh, I'ma fix it for her. Let her find her own way home. And then you find out later on down the line that was not the right way to go, because now she has a civil lawsuit against you because you put her life in danger. So just think long and think hard, fellas, about this, and just do your research. Even consult with an attorney just to make sure. Because if you listen, if you fly people out here, you got money to fly people out there, then just take a little time and just research, just so that I always believe in covering my behind. Cover your behind. Such you saying he thought it was nothing, but yeah, he definitely did. So stop flying these chicks out. Chicks, stop flying out if you know you not doing it. If you know that you're not planning on going down there to bust it wide open, stop going down there. It's too many women getting hurt, getting stranded, doing stupid stuff like this. This has got to be the most stupidest thing to ever do. You have to take control of your life, your safety, and your future. This is your life. This can work out any way, and you will be somewhere stranded and hurt. First of all, I wouldn't even feel comfortable with going to another country with somebody that's not my man. You're not my man. You don't love me. I'm not going nowhere with you, because it's too much stuff could go wrong. It's too much. Like, you taking me to another country just for a freak off? Me personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable. I wouldn't, because again, there's no vested emotional interest with you, with me. Anything could happen. I could get sick. You'll leave me over there. I could be left over there. I could get hurt. Anything could happen. Do I expect you to nurture me and take care of me? I wouldn't expect that. How could you expect that from a stranger? So we have to do better than that. We have to start putting our own selves, being more responsible for our own actions. So, moral of the story, they're both wrong. She's stupid and he's stupider, because he thought he was doing something by leaving her stranded. And now look, she's making a big deal out of it, as she should. As she should, because you left her. You left her in another country. So listen, get your weight up. You all listen, if you see that she's selling it on the internet, leave these chicks alone. Now, you all, look, ladies, again, because she looked like she was selling it on the internet. She looked like she was one of them fans only models or something like that. Listen, so ma'am, you cannot be mad because he thought you was a trick and he took you over there and he treated you like a trick. You cannot be mad if that's what you're advertising on social media. Like, you can't be mad at that. You really can't be, because if you teasing him and doing all this and telling him all this stuff, because I can only understand what these conversations are like. Again, we just have to do better. Now listen, you all, speaking of doing better, what do you all think about this? I was having a conversation with a young man, and we were talking about like dates and relationships, and what are we talking about on these dates. So I said this, and correct me, fellas, I want y'all to let me know what you all think about this. So if when you're going out and you're dating, for me, I think that it's a good idea to have a conversation between date 1 and no later than date 3. And sometimes I'm a big phone person. I like to have conversations over the phone prior to even going on a date, because if the conversation over the phone ain't hitting on nothing, then I don't want to go on the date. Like, again, I don't want to take the time to put on the good bra and put on the good drawers and put on the good stuff. I don't want to take the time to do that, and the conversation already wasn't hitting on anything when we were on the phone. I like to, because if I can get a feel for what I'm looking for, if I can get those questions answered, sometimes it won't even be a date, because I already know what I need to know. And you may say, Jay, what do you mean? What do you need to know? There are a couple of things that I like to ask up front, because depending upon how that question is answered, it will determine if I want to move to the next phase, whether it be getting to meet each other, going on a date, if the opportunity presents itself for me to slide my questions in. If not, then I like to ask those questions, as I said, on date 1, date 3. Jay, what's those questions? Hold on, let me take the coffee. The questions that I like to ask is mainly just 2 of them, maybe 3, that I think are very important, especially depending on where you are in life and what ages and stages in life that you are in. But fellas, I need you to let me know what you all think about this. How you doing, Charnette? The first question, which is very important, what are your thoughts on marriage? I want to know what you think about marriage. I don't want to know, are you trying to marry me? I'm not asking that. We don't know each other. But I want to know, is marriage in your future? Do you see marriage in your future? Because now, Jay, you talking about marriage on the first date? Honey, why am I going to waste time? Listen, I don't need a meal. I already keep trying to tell y'all, these thighs, I eat on my own. I don't, listen, bada bing and bada bang, they about to come through the shirt. So you know they're okay. Bada bing and bada bang, they're good. So I don't need your meal, okay? I would like to know what your thoughts are. Because, again, you have guys that, they've been married, been beat up by life. The marriage beat them up. First marriage, oh, God forbid, the second marriage. I'm not going to be number 3, because you already made 2 mistakes. And clearly, for me, I'm like, 9 times out of 10, it might be you. So I don't want to be the third one to figure out, it was really him. He is really the crazy one. Because 2, you couldn't get along with 2 previous wives. Now, if the wife died, one wife died, maybe whatever, and then the other one was a divorce, might be able to, see what's going on there. But if he's like, I don't believe in marriage, or I never desired to get married, I don't want to get married. Okay, well, so for me, that would be a deal breaker for me, because I want to get married. I'm gonna make it to the aisle too. I'm not gonna turn around and say, I'm not gonna be a runaway bride again, because I was a runaway bride before. For those of you that don't know, I was a runaway bride. But I won't be a runaway bride again. Hopefully, no, I won't run away again. But I was a runaway bride. And we'll get into that a little bit later. I told y'all my story before, but if y'all want to know about it, just let me know. We'll talk about it another time. But I was a runaway bride. But I like to ask, what are your thoughts? And some people think that, Jay, asking on the first date is too soon. Well, I mean, maybe not. It's not for me, because, again, for me, it's a checklist. And here's why I like to ask that. That's the first question. The next question is more so for him and not me. What are your thoughts on having more kids? Or if he doesn't have any kids, I'm probably not the one for him. And why, Jay, why would you say that? Because I'm not having any more kids. So I cannot see myself depriving a man that desires to be a father the opportunity of being a father. So to me, those are deal breakers. Those are huge deal breakers. So why would I build or try to go forward with building something with someone when I know structurally we have two things that could possibly, listen, that are they're deal breakers. We have two major issues. And I feel like people are not being honest. People are not being upfront about these things. And they're just going through the motion, hoping that somebody would change their mind. That's how you get hurt. That's how feelings get hurt. That's how hearts get broken, because you knew that he wanted kids, but you selfishly kept going, not revealing your truth that you didn't want kids. So now he's ready to have kids and he's ready to move on. Then you drop a bomb on him. I don't want any kids. I never wanted any more kids anyway. I never wanted any more kids in the first place. Why you didn't say that when he brought it up 2 years ago? Why wait 2 years down the line? You see what I'm saying? So now you've wasted each other's time. Now you've gotten feelings and emotions involved off of things that you know you were not gonna bend on. Those are two huge things that I don't think people should go forward with if if you are not aligned on those things. Why am I going for date 2, date 3, date 4? So now we can start having feelings for each other. Cedric is saying question 1 is appropriate. Question 2, a little premature, but still appropriate. So, and I can see how you would say that, Cedric. But I think that you can, in my opinion, you can ask anything. It just depends on the way you package it. So I'm good at packaging it. So I can package it up and we can sit there and listen. We can joke it out and whatever it is, but I'm going to get it out. Let me say this. Don't think that when I'm having a conversation, if I'm having a conversation with a man, it's not like I'm going through a checklist and so what you think about marriage? You want to get married? Yes or no? Yes or no? Do you want some more kids? Yes or no? Yes or no? It's not like that. I have the gift of gab. So I know how to ask a question and we can keep it moving. I know how to ask all of the questions that I want to get asked and answered without missing a beat, without flinching, and without putting him on the spot or making him feel uncomfortable. Because by me asking questions in the form of a conversation, we're having a conversation. So again, if date 1, okay, I've asked that marriage, and we talked about that, and then kind of the conversation shifted somewhere else. I'm like, okay, cool. All right, date 2 or conversation maybe on the phone. We may not make it to date 2, but somewhere during the week when we're talking on the phone, hey, bring up more questions. Because here's the thing. I want to ask this. If we're not talking about these things, marriage and future and kids and stuff like that, what the heck are you all talking about when you're getting to know somebody? I want to know that, like, what are we talking about? If we are not talking about these things, what are we talking about? What are you all talking about? Because maybe I'm missing it. But what else is there to talk about besides the horizontal mambo? Or is that what you're spending 5 months talking about? 2 months, a week, talking about what you're going to do Oh, when I get you, I'm going to tear that thing. Listen, you have lost me. You have lost me because, listen, you have to get me here. Like, I have to be in tune mentally, because if I check out mentally, I'm over the whole situation. Like, I'm done with the whole thing and never to return again. So, what are you all talking about if you are not talking about marriage? If you're not talking about having kids? Now, Cedric, he says, what's the third question? Because I know there's a number 3. You are absolutely right. There is a number 3. The third question, and this is give or take. I like to know now, listen, you all, I'm prepared for it because I know y'all going to try to get me with it, but I'm going to stand tall on it anyway. What is your credit looking like? What is your credit looking? I got to know. I'm sorry. Listen, I have got to know, because you are not about to sit up here and have $150,000 in bank restitutions, and owe $89,000 in back child support. I am not, okay? I am not. You don't have to tell me the score, the exact score, but I would like to know, what neighborhood are you in? And if you don't feel comfortable with discussing that, I can respect that. I definitely can. But, and it depends on number 3, and that's why I said possibly, if I have to see it, depending on how you answered 1 and 2, if I'm going to go through without getting an answer for number 3, because I can kind of find my answer when I get to your place. Because if you got red notices and pink notices, or your stuff is in somebody else's name, those are good indicators that your ish ain't together. You ain't got it all together, and yeah, we're not going to be able to just live off love, because Bank of America and Chase don't care how much we love each other. They want that money. They want that money, and I don't much blame them. So I need to know what it is that I'm getting myself into financially, so that I can know. So what if he tells you something and you don't like what neighborhood he's in? So is that a deal breaker? Number 3 may not necessarily be a deal breaker. And here's why. It just depends on what's going on, because I can help. I can say, so I can help. Number 3 can be turned around. Number 3 is fixable, it could be fixable, depending on what kind of ish you got going on. But number 3, there are some workarounds, but you got to be worth it. Like, both he and she, fellas, don't think that this is just for women. You should be asking the same thing. Or you should be asking, what are you all's important things? What's important to you? Whatever. These are the three that I think that are important to me. So I like to get this up front. I like to get this information up front, because again, we are going through the sorting process. There's nothing, and I'm going to say this, there's nothing worse than dealing with somebody and they want something that you cannot or will not give them. Like, I remember I was talking to this guy, really good dude. And he kept on talking about more kids. And I'm just like, and I told him, I'm like, I'm not having any more kids. I'm not looking to have any more kids. And I knew that it was something really important to him. And he wanted marriage and all this other stuff. But I'm like, 1 out of 2 ain't gonna help, because he's really, he's really adamant about that. So I'm like, I had to just slide on back. I had to just ease on down the road and just ease out of it, because that's not something that I want. And unfortunately, it was at that point that I said, you know what? I'm going to have to make this question number 2, because I didn't know that going up front. I didn't know that. I didn't know that that was something that he wanted up front, because we never talked about it up front. Now it's like months down the line, and now we're talking about it. And now it's like he's kind of, I was feeling him, but I wasn't gone. He was kind of getting to the point where he was about to be gone, about me. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I got to just, and I didn't want to, but I'm like, you know what? It's probably just best to just go ahead and sever ties right now, because it's only so many different ways that I can tell you, okay, I don't want your ugly babies. Just like, I don't know, like I said it nicely and several times, but then it got to the point where I'm like, okay, he about to start making me start cussing. He about to make me start cussing. But I said, you know what? From that point on, that experience made me say, you know what? We wouldn't have even got to that point had this been something that we discussed up front, because we discussed credit, we discussed the marriage and stuff, and we discussed some other important things, but we did not discuss what kids and stuff look like, because I'm like, his kids were grown, so ain't no way in the world I thought that, you would be trying to have some more kids. I'm like, do you understand? You're going to be sitting there helping these folks with their math and all this. Who trying to do that again? Not me. But clearly he was. So whatever things are important to you, I think that those things should be asked up front. Because again, if you're talking and getting to know each other, what the heck are you talking about? If you are not talking about these type of things, what are you all talking about? Cedric is saying, what about his and her spiritual and civil beliefs? Absolutely. Those are definitely things that all that comes in a conversation up front. But I gave y'all my top 3, Cedric, so we didn't have time to go into my top 10. But that's definitely, your spiritual belief is definitely on there, because if you worship the devil, then I need to leave you over there with the devil so that you can have all the time that you need to have with your father. But I'm not interested. But again, guys, when we talking and dating, these are questions to ask up front. You know why? Because a lot of times when we dating and we asking this, we going through the motions, and we're getting to know each other, and then we're trying to wonder why we're good enough to date but not commit to. Those could be some of the reasons. Those could be some of the reasons why they're feeling like, you know what, I can date her, but I can't commit to her because she don't want to have kids, or he want to have kids, or he don't want to get married, and these different things. There's so many reasons why people choose not to commit. But when you really think about the grand scheme of things, to me, I think that there are only 2 real reasons why people won't commit. And we're going to get into that. So tonight, first, I want to talk about, is being in a long-term relationship, do you all consider that a commitment? We've been dating for 5 years. Is that a commitment? What do you all think about commitment? And if being in a long-term relationship is considered a commitment, how long should we remain in a committed relationship before we say, okay, listen, okay, we've been committed 2 years, 3 years. Okay, so what are we doing? Like, are we going forward with this? Are we not going forward with this? Because at this point, it's like, it's 3 years. But like I just said previously, if we're not having these type of conversations up front, you could be with somebody that is just a serial long-term dater. Like, look at Common. Baby, he done been with one woman 7 years, 5 years, 4 years. That Bama ain't about thinking about marrying nobody. So he will long-term relationship you up. But he ain't put no ring on it. Do you want to find yourself in that type of situation? You got Jim Jones and Chrissy. She been with that man since God knows how long. I know she just like, I'm over it. I know he ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. I'm just gonna settle for this. And it's sad that you have to settle for something just because you want to keep that person. But years ago, and maybe she's finally changed her mind and just accepted the fact that, you know what? He's not gonna marry me. So I would rather have him in this capacity of us just being in a long-term relationship opposed to losing him completely. And if that's how she feels on it, I mean, more power to you. Cedric, you're saying you got to make sure y'all equally yoked. Absolutely. You absolutely do. And the only way you're going to find that out is, again, it's certain conversations that have to be had. And then after the conversation, let's see what life looks like together. What are we doing on a day-to-day basis? Are we meshing, or are we constantly at each other's throat? Are we constantly in conflict with each other? Because if you are, then that's definitely a good indication that mm, y'all probably not the right fit together. You're probably not the right fit together. And a lot of people don't like to accept that. But again, you gotta, what do you want? Know what you want and talk about that ish before you in a long-term committed relationship. And now you're trying to put pressure on, oh, I'm gonna give you an ultimatum. If you ain't marry me in 2 days, it's over with. What? Save your ultimatum. What are you talking about? Ultimatums? What? Cedric is saying, I said it before. I'll say it again. 6 months. 6 months for what, Cedric? 6 months for what? Are you saying 6 months? A man knows in 6 months if he wants to be with her or marry her? Or are you saying 6 months to before you start taking something seriously? Elaborate a little bit more, Cedric. But here's the thing. I'm like this. At this point, I'm not going to do a long-term relationship without marriage. That's just not on my list of things to do. It's not. What you're not gonna do is waste my time, and I'm not going to waste yours. So again, that's why I believe that certain conversations can be had up front so that we can ensure that we're not wasting each other's time. Time is of the essence. Especially, listen, ladies, if you are in your good childbearing years and you know that you want kids and the whole marriage thing, and this man doesn't want that, or you trying to, he still hasn't made his mind up. He's made his mind up. He doesn't want those things with you. So you have to let him go, because one of the saddest things that I've seen is beautiful women holding on to these men, holding on to these relationships, and then their childbearing years pass them by. They wanted kids, and now you're at the age where you cannot have kids, or it's not safe to do so. Listen, we don't have Shanti's dime. We don't got Beyonce's dollars. So the health care that is available to them may not necessarily be available to you. So I know some people saying, listen, I know women having babies in their 50s and their 60s. As long as you got that insurance and their money they got, and your health is what similar to what their situation is, then go for it. But that's not a lot of women's stories. So I wouldn't put too much stock in that. Hey, pretty Tasha, how you doing? Hey, Leanna, my sister's online. Hey, Lee. But I wouldn't put too much stock into that. But you waste your childbearing years because you're hoping that he changes his mind. You hoping that he sees the value in you and marries you and do all these things. But after 2 years, 3 years, and I'm gonna say this, there are exceptions to every rule. There are exceptions to every situation. But more often than not, when you're in a relationship that long and he ain't said nothing about marriage to you, and now you're getting restless, because I think that women, I think we tend to get restless after a year. About a year. If you the chick that want to get married, if you're not the chick that desires marriage, then nothing that I'm saying relates to you, or nothing, it doesn't apply to you. But for the women that desire marriage, that desires a commitment, that desires having kids, that desire those things, you typically, that itch starts to come about a year. You know, you a year into it, y'all going solid, y'all going strong, and then you like, Zach, okay, like, like, what's up? I mean, like, then you start living together. The first year he said nothing about marriage. So you like, okay, well, I know when I move in, he gonna have no choice but to want to get married, because he gonna see how good of a wife I'm gonna be. He gonna see how good I'm taking care of him and this and that. Ladies, that don't always work. That don't always work, because now that you've moved in with him, a lot of times there is no incentive for him to marry you now, because think about it. You're there. He got you there. You're doing everything that a wife is doing. And if you are living with him and you're like, well, I'm not doing everything, I'm not doing nothing that a wife should do because I'm not his wife. So I'm not going to be cooking for him. I'm not. Then why would you move in with him? Why would you move in if you're not cleaning the house? I don't understand. You should have stayed at your place and he should stay at his place if you're not going to fulfill that role, because I don't understand what's the purpose of moving in together under one roof and you're not going to take care of the household. Like, I don't understand. So that part is beyond me. Cedric is saying, a man knows after 4 weeks whether he wants to seriously invest himself into you. If he ain't put a label on y'all relationship, you're just an option he's holding on to. Real talk. Absolutely, Cedric. I totally 1000% agree with that. And ladies, I understand a lot of times that may be hurtful for us to accept, because we are the bomb. We are the end all be all. And we just don't think that we're not for every man. We just don't want to believe that every man don't want us. We just don't want to. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, ladies, but sometimes you're just he's not. Like Cedric said, after 4 weeks, this man knows whether or not he wants you. He knows whether or not he sees a long-term future with you. But a lot of times, listen, men, a lot of times, listen, let's be honest, they get comfortable with you. They like having you around. You're good enough to date. You're good enough to hang off the chandeliers. You're good enough to slob on Bob and all that. But you're not good enough for a commitment. And sometimes you just got to put them in position and let them know, either you want, especially if you are desiring kids, sometimes you just got to let them know, listen, either you want to ride this ride forever or you don't. Because listen, honey, my ovaries are drying up as we speak, okay? My ovaries, my eggs are dying as we speak for the kids, for the women that want to have kids. And if you're reaching that 35, you're reaching that 35 age range up in there, 35, 40. Listen, baby, them eggs, they start dying, just drying up quickly. Quickly. So these are definitely conversations that, again, definitely need to be had up front. Now, am I saying, oh, well, if you're with this man and he hasn't said anything to you about marriage, should you give him an ultimatum? I personally don't believe in ultimatums. I really don't. I don't. And here's why I don't. Because I never want to feel as though I'm twisting a man's arm to be somewhere he doesn't want to be. I'll say that again. I'm never going to twist your arm to be somewhere that clearly you don't want to be. You never have to settle for me. You will never have to worry about me giving you an ultimatum. You either do this or I'm going to leave. There's no need for that, honey. No need for that at all. All you have to do is tell me that I'm not who you looking for, and I'm done. But ladies, a lot of men will not tell you that. Verbally, they're not going to tell you that. But their actions will tell you that. Jay, what actions? What are you talking about? What actions will tell you that? The actions of you not getting what you want, what you desire. A man that wants you, I will say this and I will always say this. A man that truly wants a woman, he will have her. He will not leave you wondering. You will not have to wonder, what are you to him? Where are you going? What are you doing? You won't have to worry or wonder about any of that. Because when you're her, he's going to always let you know that because he doesn't want to lose you. Now, fellas, correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. But if a man want a woman, if you are her, if you are his person, he's going to let you know that because he doesn't want to risk losing you. But if you are not his person, he doesn't mind losing you. Like, as long as he can keep you around, he will keep you around. And a lot of times, a lot of us, we get comfortable with the fact that they're keeping us around. But are you really getting what it is that you want and you desire? Because they'll string you along and they'll have you holding on. They're going to hold up. He don't want to let me go. He don't want to let me go. But he's also not going to give you what he wants. I promise you, if you let go, he's going to let go too. So you, in essence, you're the one that's holding on because he can live without you. He can live without you. A man that wants you, you don't have to nag him. You don't have to put him on a 5-year game plan, a 6-year game plan. You don't have to do any of that. You don't. Because he's going to make sure that you know your place in his life is solidified. He's going to let you know that. Cedric is saying his speech and actions will tell you everything. Absolutely. And you won't get that out of twisting his arm. Well, we've been together for 4 years. You got 2 years to marry me. And if you ain't married, what kind of foolishness is this? You already gave him 4. So you finna give him 2 more to give him 6? He like, bet, I got you. I get to get another 2 years out of this, and I ain't got to commit and do nothing. What is he doing in 2 years? What's supposed to change? What is he supposed to see in 2 years that he hasn't seen in the 4 years that you already gave him? Ladies, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for heartache, heartbreak, and pain. you're setting yourself up. I love you, ladies, but we have to have this talk, because a lot of times this this is us. This is us. Now, women, they do have an issue sometimes, but more times than not, it's the women we want to commit, and the man, he's fine with just dating you long term, baby. He can date you for 40 years and never marry you, and he will be fine with that. And if you are a woman that's fine with that, then I don't knock that, because each situation is different. Everybody don't desire to get married. Some people just love the fact of, listen, this is my person. We don't need this conventional love, and we don't need these a piece of paper, as people like to say. You don't need a piece of paper to prove that you love this. Listen, rock out on that. But if you're the woman that is desiring marriage and you haven't gotten that, I'm gonna go out on a limb, and I'm gonna say 3 years tops. And 3 years is stretching it. 3 years is a stretch. But if in 3 years he ain't said nothing to you about marriage, I would say this. I would bring it up and I would see, so what do you, again, this is why I like to ask this ish way up in the beginning. What are your thoughts on marriage? Because if he says he believes in marriage, or he would like to get married, and 3 years down the line and he ain't said jack to you about marriage, you, my love, are not the one. He's just keeping you by because you're convenient and he likes to have you around. But you're not the one that he's going to say I do to. But he will keep doing you until he finds the chick that he wants to say I do to. So we have to, and again, you don't give him no ultimatum, because you're not going to do anything but waste more of your time. Pretty Tasha, you're saying right. All I said on my post, I said, is dating a man that can't help you financially is a waste of time. And if you came on there talking, taking the post out of context, and then you're saying that is true. Cedric, you're saying 6 months. Absolutely, Cedric, I'm with you. 6 months is all that it takes. But if it, again, I'm willing to give y'all a little bit longer. Cedric done said 6 months. But I'm gonna be a little, I'm just gonna go out on a limb, and I would say 3 years at the max. And like I said, I don't think I will stick around for 3 years, but I would say 3 years. And if y'all ain't talking about, he hasn't said anything to you about marriage, you're not the one. And I know it's hard, but ladies, bow out and let it go. Why set yourself up for more years to waste more time? You're just wasting more time, because he's content. He already know his mind is made up. You ain't the one. And then a lot of times I've seen this happen. He breaks up with this chick. He been with you for 12 years. And he goes and he's with this lady for a year. And they getting married within that year. Oh my God. And it will crush you to the bone. Because you're like, oh my God, I was just with him for 12 years. And he just met her a year ago and he married her. Because she was his person. And you was just something that he was having fun with. Not saying that he didn't care about you. It's not saying any of that. It's simply saying that you were not the one that he wanted to give forever to. And he didn't. And he held on to you until he found who did it for him. So you have to stop allowing yourself to be placeholders. Ladies and fellas, we got to stop being placeholders. That's why I say, you know what? Have these conversations up front so that you can know what a person is feeling. So if you know that they believe in marriage and this and that, so now after you guys are dating and you see 6 months going, ain't said nothing about marriage, a year. Now you need to start making some decisions on, do I stay or do I move around? But again, Have these important conversations because you don't want to be 12 years in a relationship and you dated them and you wondering why they won't commit. Guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Please do me a favor, go to our Facebook page, like and follow and subscribe our channel. That's the Jaye Spot Radio. Go to Facebook, like and follow us, the Jaye Spot. Go to Instagram, Jaye Spot. Jay is spelled Jaye for all three. Till next time, you all take care of yourselves and each other. Peace out. Good night, you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good night. Good night, good night, good night. Yes, let these folks go. Listen, you all don't let these people be wasting your time. Good night, guys. Good night, good night, good night, good night, good night.